are back, episode 91, proudly presented by Moon Golf. As always, Moon Golf has all the greatest and latest equipment, hand-dealt fittings. They are there to help. We're big fans. We'll have videos coming out soon to show we trust it. Me for some wedges. Brady, a 3 and a 7 wood.
7 wood.
So go see them. We're Moon Golf in Auburn.
Yep, we're appreciative of all of you who listen and watch. If you're not, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000, and I think we're only like 130 away. So help us out. But tonight we have a very special, or today we have a very special guest on the huge
for the program. Is like this.
And as the day that we are recording this, news broke on Instagram of Phil Mickelson using the LAB Golf putter. So without further ado, this is Sam Hahn with LAB Golf putters, whole thing. But before Zach, I wasn't really aware of LAB putters, and I feel like I putt with his putter more than I do mine sometimes. And so I guess we'll just let everybody know this is Sam. Sam's the CEO of LAB Golf. LAB stands for Lie Angle Balance, and if you're not sure who LAB Golf is, I bet you've seen their putters before. You may not recognize it right now, but this is him, LAB Golf, and they're the only self-squaring putters on the market, which I'll say that I saw a TikTok. I told Zach, this is what sold me on you guys and why I use Zach's putter more than my putter, is when I saw that video of the putters in the little contraption and how yeah. And I was like, why the heck am I still using my putter? So every time I'm there with Zach, I'm like, let me use your putter. But Zach, tell everybody what you have, and then kind of how that process went for you.
So I got the Mesmax arm lock. Ever since Bryson really brought out the arm lock, I was like, oh, that's what I want to try, because I always feel like I get handsy, and I'll either turn it or push it. And we reached out. Calvin actually measured me. I sent him my video. And then he gave me the numbers to order with, and I got it. So it's a perfect fit. I measured it. I did my videos with my hybrid, so it comes right to the inside of my elbow, and it's the perfect fit for me.
You know, while that remote fitting process works,
it is. I was like, I want to get fitted for one, and I looked on y'all's website. There was a guy up above Atlanta that did it, and he's like, I don't do it anymore. He said, the online is perfect for what it is. And I said, okay, and send it to Calvin. And now we
more often fit our tour players with the remote fitting than we do in person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a pure fitting, you know, like you're at your home with your putter that you're already using and comfortable with, and your shoes. And, you know, like what happens sometimes when we get the fitting instrument out where it's totally adjustable and you can have any length, any lie, you can start chasing, you know, and start being like, well, maybe I should go a little longer and this and that. And like, if there's something egregiously wrong, you know, with the putter that you're using in the video, like the guys call it out, you know, like, and they'll, you know, particularly with length, you know, if we see something that's way too long or way too short, tell them to go make another video with a shorter putter or a longer putter or whatever. Yeah, it's a super convenient way to fit. And that's been huge for us, you know, like we wouldn't, you know, like one of the unique things about us relative to other companies our size is the amount of direct to consumer business that we do, you know, and that's the future. I mean, we're, you know, everybody's online shopping and everything, and we have a putter that does, you know, pretty much require that it's fit. And so this remote fitting, I mean, just bridges that gap of not needing to be in all the retail shops, even though, you know, now we are. But before, when we were growing the brand, you know, remote fitting was huge. To be able to take a 5-second cell phone video and have a perfectly fit custom putter show up at your door a few weeks later is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're not sure about getting fitted, you know, you get fitted for every other club. And so why not the putter? So LAB offers that where you can do it online. Zach did it, and the putter is perfect for his game. So with the technology, me and Zach were talking about this earlier. When y'all set out to accomplish this lie angle balance and everything, and you made it and you figured out the shape of the putter, was it one of those things you looked at and you're like, well, crap, nobody's going to buy this because of the way it looks. Let's scrap and do it again. Or you said, well, we figured it out, so let's just sell it and see if it works. Um,
So I didn't invent the tech. The tech was
Bill,
invented by a
right?
guy named Bill, but yeah, Bill Pressey.
Yeah.
And um, so the head was already designed before I came along.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I saw some of the early prototypes that they made before they came up with the DF 2.1. And the DF 2.1 is the Mona Lisa compared to some of the prototypes that they had made. Um, they arrived at it, and I think there was definitely a bunch of physical realities. Like you can't just make it pretty. There are
Mhm.
physical properties that must be accomplished in order to balance the putter. So locating the CG in a very specific spot is kind of at the cornerstone of it's kind of the crux of the technology. And so, yeah, they had like a basic shape, and then you take weight out here, which means you have to move some over there, and you're playing whack-a-mole,
Yeah.
until you come up with a shape. And he wanted something big, and so that, because the bigger the putter is, the more obvious our tech feels
Uh-oh.
in motion.
Uh,
And so,
mhm.
wanted something a little bigger, and then they arrived at that shape, and then when I got it, I had the same reaction that everybody else did. I almost threw up in my mouth when I saw it the first time, and was like, no.
Yeah.
But then you feel the performance, and then all of a sudden, look, man, if it starts going in the hole, anything looks good. I mean, there's
Mhm.
so many, and it's so funny how just averse and how certain people are that a putter needs to look good. And like, you don't have to look further than the ping answer. Like Carsten Solheim sat on the side of the PGA Tour tournaments and putting greens for 2 years listening to vitriol. I will never use something as absolutely absurd and ugly as that putter, talking about the ping answer.
Yeah.
It is now the standard of beauty, because if it makes the ball go in the hole, things get pretty really, really quick. So,
Yeah.
I knew that. When I met Bill, he was taking a lot of crap online for, how it looked, and, all the stuff. And he used to be kind of defensive about it. And then when he and I partnered up, I was like, dude, we just lean into it.
Mhm.
Fucking putter's ugly, dude. Like there's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous. Let's lean into it. I think if we own it, I think people will have a less of a hard time dealing with it. And then when we started, like we only did one raise, capital raise, and all these investors I was talking about was their first question. Can you make it look prettier?
Mhm.
And I always said to them, I'm like, you don't want it looking prettier, because if we make it look prettier, nobody's going to notice it. The damn
Yeah.
thing works,
That's true.
and you can see it 4 fairways over, and that's a good thing,
Yeah.
especially on TV. It's a really, really good thing. So we'll never get rid of that shape. I mean, that's our logo,
Yeah.
and it's
I mean,
awesome.
we've seen it. Zach's had his putter for a good amount of months now, and just in our videos and TikToks and stuff, the comments, people saying, "No, you're never. How are you going to put with a putter, a center shafted putter? That's ugly," and all this stuff. But then, if you watch the videos or if you watch Zach play, balls are going in the
It
hole from
performs.
yeah, and you're like, this is not the Zach that I used to know. Like 4-footers were not makeable. Now he walks up to it and he like locks it in because he's got the arm lock, and he looks over it and everything's dropping in the hole, and it's got to be that putter because he wasn't putting like that before.
It helps. I
So
mean,
I love seeing the comments.
I mean, that's so I still handle all of our social media.
Yeah.
I don't make the ads or anything like that, but like all the comments and all the messaging and
Oh,
everything
you see
like
them all.
that. Yeah, and I love it. Like
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I don't care what people say about how it looks, and especially because now we've got it's a lot more fun. Like one of the things that used to suck for the first 3 years was like, if it's so good, why isn't everybody on tour using it? And be like,
Hmm.
and I'd have to go into my little shtick about all that and how hard it is and da 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 da. And I don't get that one anymore. So
Yeah.
mostly it's just when people come out and want to talk a little crap about how they look. I think it's funny, man. I mean, especially like the DF 2.1 is like a Rorschach test. I mean, the number of like analogies that people have given it is like, that looks like there's like a list of like 50 different things that I've heard that people think that thing looks like, and I think it's so funny. And then most recently, I don't know if you guys saw my post from Saturday morning when I woke up and saw like the umpteenth comment about the picture of the new DF3 that's just a straight top down view of it.
Hmm.
And I can't lie, it looks like a toilet. And so, I made a post about it and was like, everybody's been telling us this looks like a toilet, and not wrong. So I think we're
I
going
was
to call this one the shitter hitter now.
I was telling Casey earlier how I'm in the Lab fan group on Facebook. I was like, Sam's in there every single day commenting. I said you would never get that in any other brand of clothing, of golf equipment. You're never gonna have like access to someone like you, like when you're on Facebook or obviously commenting back, and it's just
I
a
mean,
nice change.
number one, like I love it. Like I genuinely enjoy it. I think it's really fun, particularly in that fan page. I mean, like where I don't have to deal with trolls and stuff like that, because people are kind of in, and so there's that. But it's also like important work, and it blows my mind that at least on some level that these guys from these other companies aren't engaging, because it's the best market research on the planet.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning how our stuff is being received, how it's being used, what people are struggling with, what they're enjoying in real time. And
Mm-hmm.
and the feedback that I get online goes right from me to customer service, to R&D, to sales, to wherever. Like, I mean, it's just a direct window into the soul of the golfing world. And the idea that, a lot of these companies go out of their way to avoid it. It just kind of blows my mind. I mean, it's our connection with our customers. And it's not just me on that page. There's a half a dozen different lab employees that, that comment and do stuff on there. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
Like 100, that is the reason that we are where we are, is because of our accessibility on social media. We're all golf nerds. We want to talk. We want to hear about the tech. We want to answer questions. We want to talk shit, and we want to have somebody talk back to us. Like it's
Right.
it's just social media has been incredible for us.
And for us is we enjoy making this content. Me and Zach always say that even if nobody watched it, we'd still go there and film it just because we have fun watching it back ourselves. But seeing y'all in that world too, with like Buster Jack, and I saw the video where Eric from RG Random Golf Club was using the putter. Like I love how y'all are everywhere. It's not just a lot of these brands have this, I call it the old rich white man snobby feel to them. But your brand doesn't feel like that. Your brand feels like anybody new to golf, old to golf can pick this club up and use it. And that's what I love about it.
Oh, totally. I mean, and I think, the kind of the old guard that you're talking about, like they've been, accessible because they want to putt better. And then the younger crowd is, accessible because they're on social media and I engage with them, and, and it's just so much fun. Like I got my best friend in the world of 22 years now is Matt Schuth, and he's our chief operating officer. And he's not a social media guy. Like I think he's on Instagram. That's about it. And, but he doesn't look at it. He doesn't, and his work is so internal. Like it's just too much for him to be doing it. And he's always, like just the other day he said to me, he's like, I can't wait for the day that, you'll get offline. I'm like, I'm never going to get offline. Like,
I'm here for the people.
Yeah, totally. And hear from my own dopamine, man. It's fun. It's a blast. And I don't remember exactly where I was going with that, but it's a big part of the company's soul to be out there doing that way. Oh yeah, you're talking about just we're trying to be as accessible to everyone as possible. The only thing that sucks about that, being accessible to everybody and all of it is like it's really expensive. And we work really hard to keep the price down. If you came and saw how these things are made, it'd blow your mind. I mean, there's no way around them being handmade, assembled. We can't mass produce them, which adds a cost. But I would love to one of these days have enough money in the R&D department that we can figure out a way to make these things way cheaper, so that they can be even more accessible to kind of that 18 to 30 range, where for most people they're just priced out of reality. But we're getting there.
Well, let's talk about for a minute the Broomstick. This is Okay, you take the DF2 and all this, and it's known for its looks, and then you add a broomstick to it, which is a whole nother thing in golf. Everybody's like broomstick, oh, that's cheating and all this stuff. Um, how did y'all? Was it just one of those things where y'all are playing with different shafts, arm lock, short broomsticks, and you said this works really good together, or is there a lot of science
No,
behind it? And you're
no, it's just I mean, so we had made them before. So with broomstick and arm lock, generally you need a lot more weight in the head than normal.
Mhm.
And weight for us it's a thing. You can't just add a couple of screws and throw some lead tape on it
Balance
because it knocks it out of balance. So,
Yeah,
uh, so like early on, early, we'd had a couple of requests for brooms and stuff like that. And to get the weight up, Bill would like put a sheet of lead tape on the bottom of the putter about that thick. And like, it would take 3 hours like to place this tape on there in a way that looked okay, that was going to stay on
yeah,
and keep the putter balance. So we didn't really, but we loved it when he made them, when he did those, because the method's great. I mean, for any putter, like the shallower the more upright the lie angle, the shallower the arc. The shallower
Mhm.
the arc means the longer the face is going to stay square to the target, and the more chance you have of getting away with a poor stroke. So we always liked it married to the method, but it just wasn't doable at the time. Like we didn't have the machines, the drawing capabilities, any of the stuff to re-engineer it to do a broom.
Yeah.
Um, but we had to figure it out when we started working with Adam. So Adam Scott. So when
Yeah.
he first started using it in 2019, but it was a short one, a conventional one, and he put it really well with it for about 3 months, and so he used it, and then when he wanted to go back to a broom, and he asked if we could make one. We did a couple of the lead tape jobs, and they just, he was like, I don't know. And he didn't like the onset either of the DF. The face was too far in front of the shaft. So I don't know how much you guys, have looked into the history of our product line, but we had a putter called the Blade 1, and then another one called the B2. The B2, he loved the look of in a conventional thing, and it's like super simple. It looks like a block of steel on a stick. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
as pared down a looking putter as you'll ever see. So we blew that one up, um, and and just by making it bigger, and the fact that it was made out of stainless instead of aluminum, it was heavy enough. Shafted it, got it balanced, and he messed around with that. It never took for him, but for us, like that was my first experience with a broomstick. I'd never touched one before, and it wasn't until we started prototyping these for Adam that I, kind of tried to figure out a way to use it, and so that I could at
hmm
least test them to make sure that they, were functioning properly.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that, like, this is a real good match. Lie angle balancing, super upright lie angle, heavy head. I mean, these are all of these things. You put them together, it makes putting a lot easier.
The
So, okay.
DF3 won't be a broomstick option because it's too small for it to get the weight correct.
No, we're coming out with one in March. It'll be slightly different. So the shafting platform will be a little deeper. It'll have another, I don't know, 4 or 5 screws or something like that, so we can
Okay.
get more tungsten in there. We're
Because
working on
I've
it.
been looking. I think that's my next move, the broomstick. And I was like, dang, the DF3 isn't on because I'm on the website all the time
Yeah,
looking, building different configurations. And with the DF3, I said, dang, it's not broomstick. I don't know if I want to go back to a
end of March.
traditional now that I went arm lock.
Mhm.
End of March, we'll have arm lock and broomstick available in the DF3. I really like the arm lock actually, and I don't generally like that method, but this one sets up really good. Hey, let me ask you something. When you say you're on the website all the time, so we're building a new website because the one that we have was designed for when we did a fraction of the business that we do now, and it's being held together with rubber bands, duct tape, and snot. But so we're making a new one, trying to figure out the thing when you're doing your builds. That
hmm
thing where you can move the putter around.
It doesn't work well
Do
for
you ever
me.
use it?
I've tried to because it's supposed to be like a 3D model where you can
Right.
float it around and look. I I don't. I may just be on my work computer, and it may not function right. But usually, I can spin it around, but I can't get it to float.
Huh.
See the bottom and top, and
So
it
you
might
just
just
like set
be
it. You just like set it just one way, and then you start playing with colors and lines and all that.
right. Yes, sir. And
That's
then
that's what we're
I
trying to
flip
figure
it to
out.
look at the top for all the different lines you can put on for putting and
Yeah, that's
color.
what we're figuring right now, is that it might be better to just have pictures instead of that little spinny thing.
The spinny thing's nice when it works.
Yeah, much debate inside the Lab Golf headquarters about that. So thank you.
I'm on there. I'm looking daily. That's how I already knew the DF3 wasn't
I know
available.
he's been talking about a broomstick for the longest. He said, and he just for a few months he's had that one, but he's ready to upgrade already.
Yeah,
Broom's awesome, man. I would, you know, I use one probably 20-30% of the golf that I play. And I mean, I putt good with anything, and I just enjoy it. Like, it's just, it's nice to break it up every once in a while and try something different. And it doesn't feel like putting. It's ball rolling. It's like a different thing altogether. I think it's a phenomenal way to putt. And I think if I was, if I was competitive, and actually, you know, I mean, I got a new putter in my bag every 6 holes just because we're always, you know, testing crap and prototyping and all that. So I just play whatever I'm playing. But if I was actually back into, you know, competition mode and all that, I'd be very surprised if I went through, you know, rigorous testing and didn't come out the other side, you know, pretty clear that Broomstick's the best.
I want it. My only concern is the length of it when we travel.
Oh yeah,
I want to put
It'll
it
be
in
shorter.
a plane.
I mean, how tall are you?
6'1".
Very likely it'll end up smaller than your driver.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think most vast majority of broomsticks that we use are under 46 inches.
Okay.
We got, yeah, it depends. It just depends upon how you do it. Like, you know, Adam's 6'2", Lucas Glover's 6'2". They're both using 45-inch putters. And then like Bernhard Langer's 5'8", and he uses a 47-inch putter because he stands kind of straight up. You know, gets it pretty close to his chin. So it just depends upon how you want to stand. Yeah, one time we had a guy who basically said, I don't care what it costs, but I want you guys to figure out a way to have a putter that remains balanced, that can screw apart like a pool cue, because he wanted it at 52 inches or something like that. So he couldn't travel with it unless he was able to take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't be curious to know if that thing still works, but we made it. It was a trick.
Did y'all come up? Is the revealer, is that y'all's technology?
Absolutely. The revealer is what gave birth to the technology. The revealer came first.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bill, you should check out episode 2 of the Fire Pit Collective series. Matt Janella did a whole thing on us, and Bill talks all about, you know, how it all went down, but very, very talented player, and like so many, just sucked at putting. And so he was in his trailer one night, you know, figuring out putters, and it's kind of difficult to explain, but he realized that putters didn't do what he thought that they did. You know, the way that face balance has been pitched to us is, you know, that it's good for this straight back, straight through stroke. And he started really understanding how these putters move, or wanted to understand more about how these putters move. So he made the first revealer out of a crutch.
Wow.
And he did that.
I guess it is what it looks like. I've been trying to figure out what it looks like that I've seen, and that's it.
Yep. He made it out of a crutch, and then hung the grip with some fishing wire, figured out a little notch to put in there, and let the putters spin freely. And he realizes that no putters are built to stay square. And so, he, hold on a second. I'm running out of battery, and I left my charger at work. So hopefully we'll make it to the end here.
We won't keep you much longer.
Right on. But so then he realized that all putters suck. And then he used the revealer to figure out where he could drill the shaft into that would make it, you know, stay square.
So I'll end with this question then for your battery.
We're good. I probably got another 15 minutes. You're good.
If you hadn't met Bill or anything, what do you think you'd be doing in the golf industry today then?
Nothing. I would be doing nothing in the golf industry. I was a golf nut. really good player. But I've been in the bar and music business for 20 years. I still own a bar here in Eugene.
Okay.
And yeah, that's where my background was in entertainment and all that. That was my career, and I was perfectly pleased with it. So yeah, I had no ambitions of getting in the golf business. I had a so yeah, like when I was 20, I couldn't really break 90. You know, I played when I was young, but I wasn't like into it. And then I met a fellow out here that sort of inspired me. And I got really good really quick. I was a scratch player 2 years later after I met this guy, Chris. And
Okay, I need
I
some
got
tips
really
after
into
this.
it. What's that?
I need some tips after this.
And so I went full tilt. And then when I was having my first kid, I figured like, I'd probably better get out of the bar business and whatever. And went and got a job as an assistant at a golf shop, started teaching lessons and all that. And like, I hated it. So that was about a 5-month stint in the golf business back in 06, 07. Didn't last long. So yeah, the golf business was not anything I ever had any ambitions around. I mean, this whole thing was just so random the way it all came together. And, you know, yeah, just total American dream crap with a guy that came up with something and met the right person at the right time. And
Yeah.
he and I partnered together, and here we are.
Well, that's
Since you own a bar, do you have a favorite drink for on the course? Like something we like a transfusion or really transfusion's our go
The
to.
transfusion's my go-to. I actually don't generally drink a lot on the course. I actually don't drink a lot in general. I'm more of a stoner, I guess, you know, appropriate for my state here in Oregon. But the transfusions just go down so good. Like they're just
You could
they're
get in
so
trouble.
tasty. Oh, you can get in trouble real quick on those things. But yeah, I like the transfusion. If it's hot enough and I'm hydrated enough, I do like a good kind of just regular old shitty yellow beer, you know, Corona or Coors or something like that. But yeah, I think those two. I got into the seltzers there for a minute, and that ran its course pretty quick. But
so we have a guy here in Noonan that I was like, I swear y'all know each other, but he said he knows you from. He has a Facebook group called Club Junkies. His name's Scott Porter. He's at Noonan
oh,
Country Club.
sure, yeah. Scott was
Okay.
he was one of the early haters, and then became a lover.
Yeah. So he has a broomstick he's selling now, and I'm like, I may need to drive up there and test that thing out and see. Zach and I, what is it, Zach? We're LABelievers. Is that what you say?
Yeah, LABelievers.
LABelievers. That's our,
Love that.
we're LABelievers. We love
Oh
it.
yeah,
And after seeing Zach roll all them 4 foots in most videos, you'll see me grabbing his putter. Even one of our last videos, a guy was actually like, "Did you bring any clubs?" Because I just kept using Zach stuff all around the green with the putter. But we appreciate you taking the time to even talk to us, Sam, and talk about this. And so we're very appreciative.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Please say hi to Scott for me. He's a good fella. He, you know, like very early on, the only marketing we did was in Club Junkies and GCT and, you know, those all the golf forums, and we'd go on there and everybody talk shit about the putter and we try and talk them into it. And I think I might be wrong, but I think Scott was there was like a handful of people that were so outspoken about their, you know, certainty that it was a gimmick or whatever, that I was
He's
just
a
like,
Scotty guy most times I've seen him. Unless he's a Callaway pro now, so most of the times he has Callaway, but he always is shopping Scotties.
yeah. And I think he was one of the, I might be wrong about this, but I think he was one of the dudes that I was like, I'll tell you what, I will send you a putter. And if you hate it, you continue to talk all the shit you want and you can sell the putter and do whatever you want. But if you like it, you better start singing my praises. And I think that was him, but maybe not. But anyway, I definitely remember him.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell him I said hi.
I will. Thanks a lot, Sam, for coming on. And we'll be talking about y'all all the time because Zach, he's hot with that thing. We can't not talk about the Nez.
Stay locked, guys, and have all the fun. You hit me up if you guys ever struggling with your putting. I'll help you out.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Sam.
We are back. That was Sam Hahn, CEO of L.A.B Golf.
LABelievers. He liked it. He loved it. He loved it. No, just the technology behind that information is so cool. And then having him on the day that all that broke out with Phil, that was super cool to have him on here.
It's crazy that he's that in touch and reachable.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to get Scotty Cameron on here.
Yeah, it would be wild. You wouldn't be able to. But
yeah.
we had Sam on, so we're pretty much gonna let that be the episode for tonight because I enjoyed it. And so, you got anything? Or go buy a Lab putter. That's what I tell you. Because I can
No,
promise you,
I'm waiting on that DF3 to be Broomstick.
I wasn't trying to gas Sam up on the pod talking about Zach making putts. Zach makes putts with that thing.
You can see it.
So
Not this past Saturday. I was slightly off, but
the other ones against AJ and stuff,
when we'd come up to putt, AJ's like, "Well, this one's in."
Yeah, it's almost like you're just guaranteed it when you're 4 foot or so out. You're like, oh, wherever you want me to aim, I got it. So
Easy.
Go check out Lab Golf. If anything, go follow him on Instagram just to see the technology behind it. Because one of the, even he said, weirdest looking putters. But if you watch a video of it in the revealer, you'll understand why these putters are so cool. So that's it for episode 91, boys. We'll see y'all next time.
We're counting down. 100's on the way.
We on the way. Peace.